Hello, everyone, and welcome to my live spoiler discussion of Mandalorian Season 2. Um, so, before we get started on this one, I think I should talk about my thoughts on Season 1. So, my overall impressions of Season 1, I really enjoyed Season 1. I thought that it was a really cool deep dive into the world of Star Wars, and but I did have some major flaws with some of its filler episodes. Uh, so amazing film guy, but yeah, I overall thought that it had some really great episodes, and then it had some episodes that I don't really have much interest in going back to rewatching. And for season 2, I was looking forward to it, but because I was a bit soured on Star Wars because of the Rise of Skywalker was a bit of a disappointment to me. Um, I loved it at first, but the more and more time I thought about it, The Rise of Skywalker is now my least favorite Star Wars movie. And then, what? So I was pretty looking forward to this season, but I was also a bit flatlined when it came to it. So the so the first episode is titled "The Marshal." So, the Marshal, we see Mandalorian going to Tatooine in search of a Mandalorian, and they run into, they go to this village, and he finds a person named Cobb Vanth, played by Timothy Oliphant, who is wearing Boba Fett's armor. He isn't particularly happy about that, but with the crate dragon, which reminds me of something in Dune, they they made a deal that if he took out the crate dragon, we would he would assist. He would give him the armor, and so and we got this really cool little like action scene, and like on my 4K TV, like it did the aspect ratio change. Really nerded out about that. Really loved Timothy Oliphant's character. And I really dug that Western vibe in the bar. Um, my only issue with this episode, it didn't really go anywhere this season. So I was a bit disappointed that we didn't get to see Cobb Vanth back. But overall, this was a really solid episode, and it kicked off. And the ending when we see Boba Fett, I nerded out that sequence. And then we get to episode 2 called The Passenger, where he's helping out this frog lady, and this episode was really mediocre to me. It was a decent adventure into the Star Wars universe, but yeah, and then Baby Yoda eating the eggs was a bit distasteful for me, but I'm not trying to cancel Baby Yoda or anything, so don't worry about that. But the spider sequence was cool, but it really didn't go anywhere this season, which really disappointed me, and just I didn't really love this episode. The spider sequence was cool, but it didn't really do much for me, and it's actually my least favorite episode of the entire series. Um, then we get to the third episode called The Harris, which was a really cool episode. We got to see Bo-Katan from the Clone Wars animated series, which I'm a massive fan of the Clone Wars animated series. I'm just getting into Rebels. This was a really fun episode with some really fun action set pieces. Um, I really enjoyed Bo-Katan and the rest of the Death Watch. It just wasn't really memorable to me. The most memorable part to me was hearing Ahsoka's name drop. And also, they gave me a heart attack when they threw Baby Yoda into that creature. I had a panic attack during that. So, Disney Plus, if you're watching this, um, I hate you. But yeah, really cool action scenes. Um, but not the most memorable thing. Now, the episode The Siege was where it really started to pick up for me. I was worried if that this was just going to be another filler episode, but no, I really enjoyed this episode. We got to see this cloning facility that I think they're building Snoke in. We got some really cool shootout sequences and just one of the most exciting chase sequences of the entire franchise. I really enjoyed learning a bit more about Cara Dune, who, look, please do not bring up the whole Gina Carano situation. I don't give a crap. But I really found her interesting. That we got to learn that she's from Alderaan, and this was directed by Carl Weathers, who I like to call Apollo Creed. He also plays Grief, and I'm just I agree with Jeremy John's theory that the only reason he directed this episode was just to hold Baby Yoda and do the cute talk to him. I'm going with that theory on that one. But yeah, really cool action scenes. Really enjoyed the reveals, and I think this actually has my favorite Baby Yoda moments of the entire series, which was really, really hilarious with the cookie things. I like to call them macaroons, but yeah, that was hilarious. And the ending shot with Moff Gideon, played by Giancarlo Esposito, and the Dark Troopers or Death Troopers, but they're like these like cyborg or robot troopers. Thought that was a really cool shot, and I'm kind of glad that they're back in canon. Now we actually get to my favorite episode, The Jedi. So Ahsoka Tano is my favorite character in the Clone Wars and one of my favorite characters in all of Star Wars. So the fact that we were getting her in live action was just really, really exciting to me. And it was really, really cool to see Rosario Dawson take on the part. I thought that she did an excellent job, and I got this like samurai movie vibe from this episode. Like and this was directed by Dave Filoni, who I think either him or Jon Favreau should be in charge of Lucasfilm, in my opinion. I don't hate Kathleen Kennedy like some people do, but they really, really did an excellent job with this episode. Seeing white lightsabers in live action was really cool. And then we got to learn that Baby Yoda's name is Grogu. This, and it was a really cool way that we got to learn his backstory, that he's Order 66 survivor. He was on Coruscant, which is like, I almost wish that like George Lucas could like re-edit, like add a CGI Baby Yoda, but then that will lead to more changes though. So I don't think you guys should be like letting me be the ideas person here, but yeah, it was really cool to learn that. The Vescar thing was really cool. Only disappointment was that it was the cliche, God help a village out with this situation, or help this person out with this situation. It's like, yeah. I'm sure he may be, but well, it wouldn't really have a place for it though. But it was really cool to see that. I liked the way they betrayed the fight sequences. We got to see Michael Biehn, who even though I kind of wish that when they announced Michael Biehn, I was expecting him to have like a bigger part to the overall story, but he was kind of just the side character. But really cool to see him. And it ends with them going to Ahsoka, telling him about the planet Tython, where Baby Yoda could find his like call a Jedi over, which then leads us to Chapter 6, The Tragedy. So I wasn't really sure what to expect with this episode. I didn't know we were going right to Tython. I thought we were going to have another filler episode, and that we were going to save the whole Jedi thing for the finale. But then we arrive on Tython, and then when they get to the rock, like Mando sees a very familiar looking ship fly down, and we see Fennec from Chapter 5, The Gunslinger, and which is not a favorite episode of mine. It was definitely my least favorite from season 1, but it was really cool that we got to see her. And then Boba Fett, played by Tamora Morrison, who is tracking down Mandalorian for his armor. I will say there was the dialogue where he's like, "I'm just a simple man making his way around the universe." That was a bit like on the nose, like, hey. But it was cool to see him in there. And then the Empire shows up, and Mandalorian and Fennec are defending Baby Yoda. And then they did the whole like action scene, and then Boba Fett puts on his armor once again, and we just get some really cool action scenes with him. and then we get to see him like using his like flamethrower thing, and then Baby Yoda gets captured by a dark trooper, and Boba Fett attempts to rescue, but he fails. Um, then I didn't know if Boba Fett was going to stay for the rest of the season. I thought maybe this is just going to be a one-off thing. But then he basically says that we owe your debts to until we rescue the child, and I'm just like, ugh. And then they go to Gina Carano, or Cara Dune, who's now a marshal of the New Republic, to rescue, to like get a information on the prisoner Mayfield, played by Bill Burr, who was in chapter 1, The Prisoner, which I really like that episode. And then we see like Baby Yoda like using the Force on these prisoners, or the stormtroopers, and seeing him like, and then Moff Gideon, who I call Gus Fring, like taunts him with the dark saber, and I'm like, don't you dare, Gus. Ugh, I want to see Mando take you out so bad right now. And then we then the episode ends, and then the next episode I thought was a really great episode, where we get to see more of the character side of Mando, with some action in there, of course. Him and Bill Burr are getting coordinates for the ship, and there's this really like cool Mad Max style action sequence. We then like we get this scene when like Mando actually gets to take off his helmet, and it's really, really a great acting from Pedro Pascal. And then we get this table confrontation with one of the Imperial officers. They're just talking. Bill Burr calls him Brown Eyes. And then things don't go the way they think. They get into another action scene. And my favorite part of this action sequence is when Boba drops the seismic charges, and we get that. That was really cool to see Boba do. And they let Bill Burr go with this really funny scene about Mayfield being dead on that Imperial prison, and it was really hilarious to see. And then it ends with Mando repeating the same like dialogue from episode 7 of the last season to Moff Gideon. Really, really fun to see that, and it just like left me antsy for the next week, just waiting for the season finale. And then we get to Friday. I'm very nervous and excited for this finale. I'm completely worried that they're just gonna drop the ball completely, and they didn't, in my opinion. I know when we get to that certain scene, I'm going to talk about why I think it worked brilliantly, even as someone who likes The Last Jedi. So we get to the like we open up and it's like they're chasing this cruiser that has the doctor, um which it was a really fun sequence. And then uh he hold one of the officers holds the doctor as a human shield. um and we get this like really emotional sequence where he's taunting Kara about Alderaan and all the uh things going on, like how millions of people died aboard that Death Star, or the Death Stars, and the galaxy was all yay thing. And then Kara just has enough of it and uh, shoots him in the head. That was a great way to open. Then Mando and Boba go to recruit Bo-Katan, and Sasha Banks's character, who, if any of you guys have her name, let me know in the comments. And they basically agree to, and we get this like really cool exchange between Sasha Banks and Boba, and we get a brief little fight. And then things settle down. They agreed to go to the they agree to help them out. They get their plan, and like once they drop out of hyperspace, Boba is gonna start like shooting at them while they have their shields up. And they enter. Boba goes away for this mission. They enter and they start shooting through, and we got some really cool stunts from all the actors actors and actresses this episode. I really thought it was cool to see like them like jetpack kicking some guys. And then Fennec is just an awesome character when she shoots that guy in between the crates. And then there was this really cool sequence when it's just Fennec and Kara on the bridge, and they shoot these guys in front of them, but then behind them like there's this there's a bunch of stormtroopers marching towards them, and they the Bo-Katan and Sasha Banks's character swoop down on their jetpacks and take care of them. And then we get this really cool fight with Mando and the Dark Trooper. And it really starts to show the power of the Dark Trooper. It's very hard to fight, but he manages to kill him with a Beskar spear, which was really cool. And then I keep saying I'm really cool, this thing. Anyway, and then he launches them into space, which disappointed me at first. But we'll get back to that later. And it was awesome. And then, so then they get to the Kara, Fennec, Bo, and Sasha Banks get to the bridge. They shoot it up. Moff Gideon isn't there, though. And then Mando is marching down to the or sneaking down to the prisoner hallway, he opens Baby Yoda's or Grogu's cell. Moff Gideon is holding him hostage with the dark saber, and I was on the edge of my seat for this sequence. I was like, "Don't you dare! Don't kill him!" And then we get to see that like he basically says that you could take him. I have everything I need. And then he goes to grab Baby Yoda. Uh, he attempts to strike Mando, but the Vescar. And they get in this really cool fight sequence. I was a bit disappointed by the length of it, to be honest. I was hoping for a bit more of a fight, but overall, it was pretty cool. And then he surrenders, and they get to the bridge, and oh boy, they basically. So with the Mandalorians, to wield the dark saber, you have to wield it. You have to win it in combat, which causes this whole you just defeated the person with the dark saber. And so I was a bit worried that Bo and Mando were going to have to fight, but then the dark troopers that were launched into space start showing up. Gets really suspenseful. Like, I'm terrified. I'm like anxious about what's going to happen next. And one X-Wing comes in. I'm like, that's not going to do anything. And then we see a cloaked figure over the security monitors, and I'm like, no, they're not doing that, are they? And then we see him wielding a lightsaber, and I'm just like, who is that? Ahsoka? Is that Ezra? Is it Cal from Jedi Fallen Order? And then we see the black glove. It's Luke Skywalker, and I was just nerding out. I know a lot of people that are either talking about how it ruins Rian Johnson's vision, or how Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni just schooled Rian Johnson. And I'm just like, I completely ignored I just looked on it at its own. I don't really see how it ruins Ryan's vision. Like, this is like a pre-Return of the Jedi, or pre-Last Jedi Luke, before the Kylo incident went down. So, like, yeah, I don't see how it does that. And he cuts through, and then he enters the elevator, and we just get this awesome hallway scene. And I'm just like I am like crying. And then he enters the room with the Mando and a gang. He takes off his hood. The de-aging effects were a tad bit iffy, I will say. Not as amazing as Marvel has done them, but I got used to it after a while. It was pretty cool to see Luke in the series. Now, the part that just chokes me up is when Mando says bye, is like saying bye to Grogu, and he takes off his helmet for him, which got me really emotional. And then Luke says, "May the Force be with you." And then they made it so painful to watch this. I'm tearing up inside with this whole this thing. And then it ends with Luke taking Baby Yoda. And now we get to the after credit scene. where we see Bib Fortuna from Return of the Jedi. He's getting really fat. Like, what has quarantine done to you, man? And then Fennec starts shooting up the place, freezes Twi'lek Dancer, and then Boba Fett shows up, and he's like, "Boba, I thought you were dead. I heard rumors." And then Boba shoots him. His body falls, and Boba sits on his throne. And then it ends with the Book of Boba Fett coming 2021. And yeah, I'm excited for that. So my overall thoughts on this season, despite a few moments of filler, I thought they really delivered on expanding the Star Wars lore while also having it stand on its own. And overall, I am going to give Season 2 of Mandalorian an A. Solid A. It was a really great season and some of the best Star Wars I have ever seen. Okay, so it looks like no one is in the chat is watching. We got one person in. I'm going to get my chair. So yeah, we got one person in the chat. We had 3 at one point, but it looks like Walker Dead and Amazing Film Guy left. I may call it a day if no one has any questions. Yeah, it was really cool to see Mando take off his mask. I thought it was nice change. I understand why he wasn't mask on first season. We only got to see him in the finale, but oh well, what can you do? He's still a pretty awesome character in my opinion. Can I move this down so it's not covering my mouth? Yeah, it looks like I'm going to end the stream here. Thank you guys. If you're watching this on a replay, comment below what you thought of Mandalorian Season 2. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Are you somewhere in the middle? I'd like to know why. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for December for another live show. I'm going to just do a random movie talk show. Talk about whatever news, talk about whatever movies. I do a few mini reviews of some movies. They will include Mank, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Wonder Woman 1984, Soul, and The Sound of Metal. I have to watch all of the. Well, I've seen 2 of them, but yeah. So stay tuned for that, and then I'll be doing my Blu-ray collection. I got one shelf here and another shelf over there. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.